Here are some recipes that will help you to fall asleep. Our first recipe is butter chicken, a classic Indian dish that's beloved for its tender, marinated chicken pieces and rich, velvety tomato cream sauce. This flavorful dish is perfect for cozy family dinners or when you want to treat yourself to a restaurant-quality meal at home. Its balance of warm spices, creamy texture, and slight tanginess makes it irresistible. Let's dive in. Start by preparing the chicken. You will need 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs or breasts, cut into bite-sized pieces. For the marinade, combine 1 cup of plain yogurt, 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and a pinch of salt in a mixing bowl. Add the chicken pieces, ensuring they are evenly coated. Cover the bowl and refrigerate for at least 2 hours, or, for best results, overnight. The marinade tenderizes the chicken and infuses it with flavor. When the chicken is marinated, it's time to cook it. Heat 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in a large skillet or Dutch oven over medium-high heat. Add the marinated chicken pieces in batches, searing them for 2 to 3 minutes per side until they are lightly browned but not fully cooked through. Remove the chicken from the pan and set it aside on a plate. In the same skillet, it's time to build the flavorful base for the sauce. Reduce the heat to medium and add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Once melted, stir in 1 large finely chopped onion. Sauté the onion for 5 to 7 minutes until golden brown and caramelized. Add 3 cloves of minced garlic and 1 tablespoon of grated ginger, cooking for another 1 to 2 minutes until fragrant. Next, it's time to incorporate the spices and tomato base. Add 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin to the onion mixture. Stir well to toast the spices for 30 seconds, releasing their aromas. Pour in 1 cup of pureed tomatoes, or canned tomato puree, and cook for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally until the mixture thickens and deepens in color. To create the creamy, luxurious sauce, stir in 1 cup of heavy cream or coconut cream and 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Add 1 teaspoon of sugar to balance the acidity of the tomatoes and season with salt to taste. Return the seared chicken pieces to the pan, ensuring they are submerged in the sauce. Reduce the heat to low, cover, and simmer for 20 to 25 minutes until the chicken is tender and fully cooked. For a finishing touch, stir in 2 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter, which gives the dish its signature richness and silky texture. Garnish with freshly chopped cilantro for a burst of color and freshness. Butter chicken is best enjoyed with steamed basmati rice or warm naan bread, which are perfect for soaking up the luscious sauce. For a complete meal, pair it with a side of cooling cucumber raita or a simple green salad. Variations of this dish include adding a handful of toasted cashews or almonds to the sauce for extra creaminess, or using paneer or tofu instead of chicken for a vegetarian version. For a smoky twist, you can grill the marinated chicken before adding it to the sauce, mimicking the traditional tandoor cooking method. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. To reheat, place the butter chicken in a covered skillet over medium heat, adding a splash of water or cream if the sauce has thickened. Stir occasionally until warmed through. Butter chicken is a dish that epitomizes comfort and indulgence. Its tender, spiced chicken and rich tomato cream sauce come together to create a symphony of flavors that will leave you craving more. Whether you're a longtime fan of Indian cuisine or trying it for the first time, this recipe is sure to become a favorite in your kitchen. Give it a try and savor the magic of this timeless classic. Our second recipe is seared tuna with sesame crust, a light and flavorful dish that beautifully combines the rich, meaty taste of fresh tuna with the nutty crunch of sesame seeds. This recipe is quick to prepare yet elegant enough to impress at dinner parties or special occasions. The tuna's perfectly seared crust and tender, rare center make this dish a true delight for seafood lovers. Let's get started. Begin by selecting your tuna. You'll need 2 fresh ahi tuna steaks, each about 6 ounces and 1 inch thick. High-quality tuna is essential for this dish, as it's served rare. Look for steaks with a vibrant red color and a fresh, oceanic scent. Pat the tuna dry with paper towels to remove excess moisture. Then season both sides lightly with salt and freshly ground black pepper. Next, prepare the sesame crust. In a shallow dish, combine 1/4 cup of white sesame seeds and 1/4 cup of black sesame seeds. The mix of white and black seeds creates a visually stunning crust, but you can use just one type if preferred. Gently press each tuna steak into the sesame mixture, ensuring the seeds adhere evenly to both sides. The seeds provide a beautiful texture and a subtle nutty flavor. Heat 2 tablespoons of neutral oil, such as avocado or vegetable oil, in a large, heavy-bottomed skillet over medium-high heat. The oil should be shimmering but not smoking. Carefully add the sesame-crusted tuna steaks to the hot skillet. Sear each side for 1 to 2 minutes, depending on your preferred level of doneness. For a traditional preparation, the tuna should remain rare in the center, with just the outer edges cooked. This ensures a tender, melt-in-your-mouth texture. Remove the seared tuna from the skillet and let it rest on a cutting board. While the tuna rests, prepare a simple yet flavorful dipping sauce. In a small bowl, whisk together 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lime juice, 1 teaspoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, and a pinch of grated ginger. This sauce provides a tangy and savory complement to the tuna and enhances the sesame flavor. For serving, slice the tuna steaks against the grain into 1/4 inch thick slices. The contrast between the crisp sesame crust and the vibrant, rare interior creates an eye-catching presentation. Arrange the slices on a platter and drizzle with a little of the dipping sauce. Garnish with thinly sliced green onions and a sprinkle of sesame seeds for an elegant finishing touch. Seared tuna with sesame crust pairs beautifully with a variety of side dishes. For a light meal, serve it alongside a fresh salad of mixed greens, cucumber, and avocado, dressed with a citrus vinaigrette. For a heartier option, consider pairing it with steamed jasmine rice and stir-fried vegetables. The clean flavors of these sides balance the richness of the tuna. If you're looking for variations, there are plenty of ways to customize this dish. You can add a spicy kick to the sesame crust by mixing a pinch of cayenne pepper or chili flakes into the sesame seeds. For a more Asian-inspired twist, try marinating the tuna steaks for 15 minutes in a mixture of soy sauce, sesame oil, and a touch of mirin before crusting them with sesame seeds. Alternatively, serve the tuna over a bed of soba noodles tossed in a sesame ginger dressing for a complete meal. Leftovers, if any, can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours. The tuna is best enjoyed fresh, but it can be served cold as part of a salad the next day. To maintain its quality, avoid reheating as it may overcook the rare center. Seared tuna with sesame crust is a testament to the beauty of simplicity. With just a handful of ingredients and minimal preparation, this dish lets the natural flavor of the tuna shine. It's a recipe that combines elegance and ease, making it perfect for both weeknight dinners and special occasions. Try it for yourself and savor the delicate balance of textures and flavors that make this dish a standout. Our next recipe is stuffed acorn squash with quinoa and cranberries, a hearty and wholesome dish that's as visually stunning as it is delicious. This recipe celebrates the natural sweetness of acorn squash, filled with a flavorful mix of quinoa, dried cranberries, and savory herbs. It's an excellent choice for a festive meal or when you want to enjoy a comforting yet healthy dish. Let's begin. Start by selecting the squash. You'll need 2 medium-sized acorn squashes, each about 1 to 1.5 pounds. Look for squashes with firm skin and a deep green color, sometimes flecked with orange or yellow. Rinse the squash under cold water and pat it dry. Using a sharp knife, carefully cut each squash in half lengthwise. Scoop out the seeds and stringy pulp with a spoon, creating a hollow center for the stuffing. To prepare the squash for roasting, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, 200 degrees. Place the squash halves cut side up on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Brush the flesh lightly with olive oil and sprinkle with salt and pepper. Roast for 30 to 40 minutes, or until the flesh is tender and can be easily pierced with a fork. While the squash is roasting, you can prepare the quinoa filling. For the filling, you'll need 1 cup of uncooked quinoa. Rinse the quinoa under cold water in a fine mesh sieve to remove any bitterness. In a medium saucepan, combine the quinoa with 2 cups of vegetable broth and bring it to a boil over medium heat. Reduce the heat to low, cover, and simmer for about 15 minutes, or until the quinoa is cooked and the liquid is absorbed. Fluff the quinoa with a fork and set it aside. In a large skillet, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil over medium heat. Add 1 small diced onion and sauté for 3 to 4 minutes, or until softened. Stir in 2 minced garlic cloves and cook for an additional minute. Add 1/2 cup of dried cranberries, 1/2 cup of chopped pecans, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon to the skillet, stirring to combine. Cook for 1 to 2 minutes, allowing the ingredients to warm and release their flavors. Remove the skillet from the heat and stir in the cooked quinoa. Add 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley or thyme for an aromatic touch, and season with salt and pepper to taste. The combination of sweet cranberries, crunchy pecans, and herbaceous notes creates a filling that's both satisfying and full of flavor. Once the squash is roasted and tender, it's time to assemble the dish. Spoon the quinoa mixture into the hollowed-out centers of each squash half, packing it gently to ensure the filling stays in place. For an extra touch, sprinkle a little grated Parmesan or vegan cheese over the top. Return the stuffed squashes to the oven and bake for an additional 10 to 15 minutes, or until the filling is warmed through and lightly golden on top. To serve, place each stuffed squash half on a plate and garnish with a sprinkle of fresh parsley or a drizzle of honey for added sweetness. This dish is hearty enough to serve as a main course, accompanied by a crisp green salad or roasted vegetables. Alternatively, it can be served as a stunning side dish for a festive dinner spread. Variations of this recipe allow for plenty of customization. You can swap the quinoa for wild rice or couscous, and the cranberries can be replaced with chopped dried apricots or golden raisins. For a more savory twist, add crumbled feta cheese or cooked sausage to the filling. Vegan options can include adding sautéed mushrooms or chickpeas for extra protein. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. To reheat, place the stuffed squash halves in a 350-degree, 175 degrees oven for 15 to 20 minutes or until warmed through. Avoid using a microwave, as it may make the squash soggy. Stuffed acorn squash with quinoa and cranberries is a dish that brings together the best of seasonal flavors and textures. The tender roasted squash, paired with the sweet and savory filling, creates a meal that feels indulgent yet nourishing. Whether you're hosting a holiday feast or enjoying a cozy night at home, this recipe is sure to impress with its beauty and taste. Give it a try and enjoy the wholesome comfort of this delightful dish. Our next recipe is Korean bulgogi beef, a beloved dish that features tender, marinated slices of beef infused with a balance of sweet, savory, and smoky flavors. This dish is a staple of Korean cuisine, traditionally grilled but easily adapted for cooking at home. It's perfect for casual dinners or when you want to introduce bold, global flavors to your table. Let's get started. Begin by selecting the beef. You'll need 1.5 pounds of ribeye or sirloin steak, which are ideal for their tenderness. If you prefer a leaner option, you can use flank steak. To make slicing easier, place the steak in the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes until it's slightly firm but not frozen solid. Using a sharp knife, slice the beef against the grain into thin, bite-sized pieces, about 1/8 inch thick. The key to bulgogi's irresistible flavor lies in the marinade. In a medium mixing bowl, combine 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 3 tablespoons of grated Asian pear or apple, 1 finely chopped green onion, 3 minced garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of grated ginger, and a pinch of black pepper. The Asian pear helps tenderize the beef while adding natural sweetness. Stir the marinade until the sugar dissolves completely. Add the sliced beef to the marinade, ensuring each piece is fully coated. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 1 hour, or up to overnight for maximum flavor. The longer the beef marinates, the more tender and flavorful it becomes. When you're ready to cook, remove the marinated beef from the refrigerator and let it sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes. Heat a large skillet or grill pan over medium-high heat and add a drizzle of neutral oil, such as vegetable or grapeseed oil. Once the pan is hot, add the beef slices in a single layer, working in batches if necessary to avoid overcrowding. Sear the beef for 1 to 2 minutes on each side until it's caramelized and slightly charred. The high heat ensures a flavorful crust while keeping the inside tender and juicy. For a traditional presentation, serve the bulgogi with steamed white rice and a variety of side dishes, known as banchan. Popular accompaniments include kimchi, pickled radishes, or sautéed spinach. To elevate the meal further, wrap the beef in lettuce leaves with a dollop of samjang, a savory Korean dipping sauce made with fermented soybean paste, chili paste, garlic, and sesame oil. If you'd like to make bulgogi part of a larger dish, consider using it as a topping for rice bowls, noodles, or even tacos. The rich, flavorful beef pairs well with a variety of cuisines and ingredients, making it a versatile option for creative meals. For those seeking variations, you can add thinly sliced vegetables like carrots, onions, or mushrooms to the marinade for a hearty one-pan dish. If you prefer a spicier version, incorporate 1 tablespoon of gochujang, Korean chili paste, into the marinade for a kick of heat. Leftovers, if any, can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. To reheat, use a skillet over medium heat, adding a splash of water or marinade to prevent the beef from drying out. Avoid microwaving, as it may affect the texture. Korean bulgogi beef is a dish that embodies the essence of Korean cooking. Bold, flavorful, and deeply satisfying. The tender slices of beef, infused with the perfect blend of sweet and savory notes, make this recipe a crowd pleaser that's surprisingly simple to prepare. Whether you're introducing Korean cuisine to your kitchen for the first time or indulging in a familiar favorite, this recipe is sure to delight. Try it out and experience the delicious magic of bulgogi for yourself. Our 5th recipe is truffle mushroom pasta, a decadent and aromatic dish that brings together the earthy richness of mushrooms and the luxurious essence of truffle. This recipe is perfect for special occasions, date nights, or whenever you want to treat yourself to a gourmet meal at home. It's surprisingly simple to prepare, yet delivers restaurant-quality results. Let's begin. Start by choosing the right pasta. Fettuccine, tagliatelle, or pappardelle work best, as their wide, flat surfaces hold the creamy sauce beautifully. You'll need 12 ounces of fresh or dried pasta. Cook the pasta in a large pot of salted boiling water, according to the package instructions, until al dente. Reserve 1 cup of pasta water before draining, as this will help achieve the perfect sauce consistency. While the pasta cooks, prepare the star ingredients, the mushrooms and truffle. You'll need 10 ounces of mixed mushrooms, such as cremini, shiitake, and oyster. Clean the mushrooms with a damp paper towel and slice them thinly. For the truffle component, use 2 teaspoons of high-quality truffle oil, or, if available, freshly shaved black truffle for an extra luxurious touch. In a large skillet, heat 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 1 tablespoon of olive oil over medium heat. Once the butter has melted and begins to foam, add the sliced mushrooms. Sauté for 5 to 7 minutes, stirring occasionally until the mushrooms are golden brown and tender. Season with a pinch of salt and freshly ground black pepper to enhance their natural flavors. Next, build the sauce. Lower the heat to medium-low and add 2 minced garlic cloves to the skillet with the mushrooms. Cook for 1 minute or until fragrant. Pour in 1/2 cup of heavy cream and 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, stirring until the cheese melts and the sauce becomes creamy. If the sauce is too thick, add a splash of the reserved pasta water, 1 tablespoon at a time, until it reaches your desired consistency. Once the sauce is ready, stir in the cooked pasta, tossing gently to coat each strand evenly in the rich, mushroom-infused sauce. Drizzle with the truffle oil or add freshly shaved truffle, stirring lightly to incorporate the aroma throughout the dish. To finish, taste and adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper as needed. For an extra layer of flavor, sprinkle a little more Parmesan cheese and finely chopped parsley on top. If you're using freshly shaved truffle, Scatter a few slices over the pasta just before serving for an impressive presentation. Truffle mushroom pasta is best enjoyed immediately, paired with a crisp white wine such as Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc. For a complete meal, serve it alongside a simple arugula salad with a lemon vinaigrette or crusty bread to soak up any leftover sauce. Variations of this recipe allow for creative twists. Add sautéed spinach or peas for a pop of color and freshness. For a protein boost, incorporate seared scallops, grilled chicken, or crispy pancetta. Vegetarian versions can use plant-based cream and cheese substitutes for a dairy-free option. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. To reheat, warm the pasta gently in a skillet over low heat, adding a splash of cream or pasta water to revive the sauce. Avoid microwaving, as it may cause the sauce to separate. Truffle mushroom pasta is a dish that captures the elegance of fine dining with the ease of home cooking. The combination of tender pasta, earthy mushrooms, and the intoxicating aroma of truffle creates an unforgettable experience for the palate. Whether you're cooking for a loved one or indulging yourself, this recipe is sure to impress. Give it a try and enjoy the luxurious simplicity of this delectable dish. Our 6th recipe is Spanish gazpacho soup, a refreshing and vibrant dish that's perfect for warm days. This classic Andalusian soup is served cold, highlighting the natural flavors of fresh vegetables and olive oil. It's easy to prepare, healthy, and bursting with Mediterranean charm. Whether as a starter or a light meal, gazpacho brings a touch of sunshine to your table. Let's get started. Begin by selecting the freshest ingredients, as the quality of the vegetables is key to this dish. You'll need 6 ripe tomatoes, 1 cucumber, 1 red bell pepper, 1 small red onion, and 2 garlic cloves. Rinse all the vegetables thoroughly under cold water and pat them dry. Core the tomatoes, then roughly chop them into large chunks. Peel the cucumber and cut it into smaller pieces. Remove the seeds and stem from the red bell pepper and chop it into chunks. Dice the red onion and mince the garlic. The simplicity of this recipe allows the natural flavors to shine, so use peak season vegetables for the best results. Next, prepare the bread for thickening the soup. You'll need 2 slices of day-old crusty bread, preferably white or country-style bread. Remove the crusts and soak the bread in 1/2 cup of water for about 5 minutes until softened. This step gives the gazpacho its creamy consistency without adding dairy. In a blender or food processor, combine the chopped vegetables, soaked bread, and 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Add 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Blend the mixture until smooth and creamy. For a thinner consistency, you can add a few tablespoons of cold water. Taste and adjust the seasoning as needed, adding more vinegar for brightness or salt for balance. For the best flavor, transfer the gazpacho to a large bowl or pitcher. Cover and refrigerate for at least 2 hours, or until well chilled. The chilling process allows the flavors to meld and enhances the soup's refreshing quality. When ready to serve, prepare the garnishes. Finely dice some additional cucumber, red bell pepper, and tomato for a colorful topping. You can also add croutons, chopped fresh herbs like parsley or basil, or a drizzle of olive oil for a finishing touch. Serve the gazpacho in chilled bowls or glasses, garnished with your chosen toppings. Gazpacho is versatile and pairs wonderfully with crusty bread, a Spanish tortilla, or grilled seafood for a complete meal. It's also an excellent make-ahead dish, as the flavors improve with time in the refrigerator. For variations, you can experiment with additional ingredients. Add a touch of heat with a pinch of cayenne pepper or a small chopped jalapeno. For a fruitier twist, include watermelon or cantaloupe, which adds a hint of sweetness. For a richer flavor, try roasting the tomatoes and red bell pepper before blending them. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. Stir well before serving, as some separation may occur during storage. Gazpacho is best enjoyed cold, so avoid reheating it. Spanish gazpacho soup is a celebration of fresh, simple ingredients and bold flavors. Its vibrant color, silky texture, and refreshing taste make it a standout dish, whether you're hosting a summer gathering or enjoying a quiet lunch. Try it out and bring the flavors of sunny Spain to your kitchen. This recipe is sure to become a favorite for its ease, healthfulness, and pure, unadulterated deliciousness. Our final recipe is herb-crusted rack of lamb, an elegant and flavorful dish that's perfect for special occasions or when you want to impress with minimal effort. The tender lamb is coated with a fragrant herb crust, which creates a beautiful texture and locks in all the natural juices. Served with a simple sauce or alongside roasted vegetables, this dish is guaranteed to be a showstopper. Let's get started. Start by selecting a high-quality rack of lamb. You'll need one rack, about 1.5 to 2 pounds, with 7 to 8 ribs. Look for lamb with a bright pink color and a good fat cap. If not already done, ask your butcher to French the bones, which means trimming the meat and fat away from the tips of the bones for a polished presentation. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees, 200 degrees Celsius. Pat the lamb dry with paper towels and season generously with salt and freshly ground black pepper on all sides. This step enhances the flavor of the lamb and forms the base of the seasoning. Next, prepare the herb crust. In a food processor, combine 1 cup of fresh breadcrumbs, 2 minced garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh rosemary, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh thyme, and a pinch of salt and pepper. Pulse the mixture until well combined. For a richer crust, you can add 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. Heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large oven-proof skillet over medium-high heat. Sear the lamb rack, fat side down, for 2 to 3 minutes, or until it develops a golden brown crust. Flip the rack and sear the other sides briefly. Remove the lamb from the skillet and set it aside to cool slightly. While the lamb cools, prepare a mustard base to help the herb crust adhere. In a small bowl, mix 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard with 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Brush this mixture evenly over the top and sides of the lamb rack, ensuring full coverage. Press the herb crust mixture onto the mustard-coated lamb, using your hands to gently pat it down and ensure it sticks. Place the lamb rack, bone side down, back into the skillet or onto a roasting pan. Roast the lamb in the preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes, or until the internal temperature reaches 130 degrees, 54 degrees for medium rare, or 140 degrees, 60 degrees for medium. Use a meat thermometer for accuracy, as overcooking can dry out the lamb. Remember that the meat will continue to cook slightly as it rests. Once the lamb is cooked to your desired doneness, remove it from the oven and let it rest for 10 minutes, tinted loosely with aluminum foil. Resting allows the juices to redistribute, resulting in tender and juicy meat. To serve, slice the lamb into individual chops by cutting between the bones. Arrange the chops on a platter and garnish with fresh parsley or rosemary sprigs for an elegant touch. This dish pairs beautifully with roasted vegetables, garlic mashed potatoes, or a simple green salad. For a complementary sauce, consider a red wine reduction or a mint chimichurri. To make a quick red wine sauce, deglaze the skillet with 1/2 cup of red wine and 1/2 cup of beef broth after roasting. Simmer until reduced by half, then stir in a tablespoon of butter for richness. Variations of this recipe allow for creative adaptations. For a Mediterranean twist, add finely chopped olives and sun-dried tomatoes to the herb crust mixture. For a spicier option, include a pinch of chili flakes or smoked paprika. You can also experiment with different herbs based on your preferences or what's available. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. To reheat, wrap the lamb chops in foil and warm them in a 300° F, 150° C oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Avoid microwaving, as it may toughen the meat. Herb-crusted rack of lamb is a dish that combines simplicity and sophistication. The juicy, tender lamb with its crisp, flavorful crust is a true testament to the beauty of well-prepared meat. Whether you're hosting a dinner party or enjoying an intimate meal at home, this recipe is sure to delight and impress. Give it a try and savor the elegance of this classic dish.